Well, good morning and welcome to the Naples Money Managers News You Can Use. I'm joined right now by Dennis Nelson. I'm Dawn Litchfield Brown. Marcus Bickle is going to come in and take over from me in just a little bit. But for those of you, we've been talking about the wild market swings, and I'm wondering where on the roller coaster you are. Are you at this? Yay! Or are you at this? Oh, fear, happy. That's what we're going through, right?
That probably goes back and forth.
Oh my gosh.
Every few minutes.
You know, in 2020, stock market was down 34% at one point, and it closed up 16, which, you know, I can talk a long time about swings and history and how exciting it is and what happens. I know that everybody talked last time about what happens when you have threats, economic threats like we do with what's going on with Ukraine. As someone says, it's not usually the time to sell when something happens like that. Probably the time to buy. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely, and that the history has proven that to be the case over and over again.
Right, and apparently last Friday, they said was one of the single biggest turnarounds in one day. I think we were down over 800 points at one point in the pre-market, right?
Oh, I think we were down over. Yeah.
Maybe closer to 9. And then at the end of the day, I think we closed up 832 points. I mean, that was insane on Friday.
Well, point-wise, no doubt, it was the biggest turnaround
Points.
ever. But we're talking points. Percentage-wise, it probably falls in line with a lot of crashes.
Well, I always remember 1987, October 19th.
Oh boy.
Still the single biggest drop in one day, over 22%. We dropped 502 points. It was absolutely weird. I was on the radio and I was expecting all these calls as the market was collapsing. Dead silence. Nothing. Nobody called.
Nobody called. Everybody was watching the TV
strange.
and watching their stocks. It was very strange. When panic takes over, when emotions take over, and emotions work both ways.
Sure.
But when emotions take over, people jump out of stocks, good stocks, and the people with money to buy, that's when they come in and buy.
Well, that's right. I mean, you have to have the ability to weather the storm. You have to wait until the roller coaster does stop before you get off. I keep trying. It's the best description I can get. And today the roller coaster is right now on the down going. We're down about 500 points. So I'm going to turn this over to Marcus and Dennis to talk a little bit about really what the heck is going on over there, what we can expect for sanctions. I don't know if you want any of that. But here we go. I will talk with you next Monday, and we're ready to do a switch out here.
Hello, everyone. I think that's wild. 500 points was the biggest down day in history. 500 points is, a big day nowadays is nothing really to write home about.
500 points isn't that big a move these
No.
days, but it was 22%, I think Dawn said, and it seemed like at some point it was 25%. Can you imagine the stock market down 25%?
In a single day, no. That would be definitely shocking.
Right now it would be.
Yeah, that'd be almost 10,000 points, wouldn't it? No, I can't even.
Can't even consider that.
Yep.
So yeah, Russia. There's been a lot of movement over the weekend. I'm sure everybody's been glued to it as exhaustively as I have been, right?
Absolutely. My gosh, the Ukrainians are putting up the fight of the century.
Yeah.
Unbelievable how they have shown the nerve, the guts, the patriotism to do what they've done. I gotta hand it to them.
Yeah.
I want to go join them.
Absolutely, we stand with Ukraine for sure. And in the meantime, what's kind of happening on the ground? From our response on the sanctions now. Close of the day Friday, sanctions were looking like they weren't going to be. They were going to be robust, but they were definitely meant to limit the impact on our own economy while putting pressure on the Russian economy. It seems that over the course of Saturday and Sunday that has gone completely out the window, and now there's a really coordinated response between the EU and the United States as well as other nation states to really put some severe sanctions on the Russian economy. SWIFT has been enacted on a limited list of banks, but that list includes all of the major Russian banks. And kind of interestingly, that not only has SWIFT been enacted, which SWIFT is a modern banking system that allows people to enact transactions electronically, either across borders or even internally. So being removed from that essentially puts the Russian economy back to like the 70s, pre-computer era, like widespread computer usage. And but not only have the sanctions done that, but they've also deliberately limited the Russian central bank's ability to counteract that sanction. So they've limited a lot of the reserve currency that Putin had built up, because the Russians knew this was going to happen. They knew the moment they kind of stepped into Ukraine, the world would respond in some fashion. So they built up a stockpile of gold and rubles to kind of offset this. But I don't think even Putin expected this level of response. This is some of the experts I've read don't know how much damage this will do to the Russian economy. That's how indiscriminate it could be in some ways.
Yeah, this is going to be tough, and it definitely going to affect their economy. Whether it affects Putin's thinking or not, now the conversation now is this guy crazy?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to find out just how crazy.
And people, I've seen a lot of people really worried about the recent escalation in the nuclear readiness of the Russian forces. We've, not so much myself because I'm younger, but a lot of people lived for decades under the threat of nuclear war during the Cold War with the USSR. We've seen many Russian premiers who've made similar threats. And in regards to these sanctions and negatively affecting the Russian economy, the economy was ultimately what collapsed the USSR. It's very difficult to fire a nuke when you can't pay your soldiers. And that's likely what we'll see here. It might be enough pressure to crack the Russian Federation, but we'll see.
We will see.
What about the oil?
Oil, good subject on oil, and a little bit politically charged here. I'm for global warming solutions, but I'll tell you what, you can't let that get in the way of short-term need. And the fact that we have turned into inflexible inability to counter this with some kind of flow of oil, release, something. And I think we got a speech coming up by Biden's State of the Union address. I think likely he'll address this and should address it. And I hope that he'll address it with a common sense approach.
Yeah, some kind of negotiation with OPEC, hopefully, to get those member states to increase their production levels. Anything like that. Because absolutely. While climate change is definitely a very real and almost existential threat, you can't miss the forest for the trees, so to speak.
Yep. So that's our 2 cents. For what it's worth.
Absolutely.
We will maybe we'll keep you posted with additional issues of our podcasts here as events warrant. But if not, we'll talk to you again next week.
You have a wonderful week, and remember, money matters, but most importantly, you matter. Thank you so much.